go through everything, okay?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
hi, today's session is on Unit 6, which is Strategic Human Resource Management. And today's session is the final session where we do that.
Yeah.
So before I go on to the assignment, I'm going to give you a quick summary, go through everything quite quickly on what we've done in each learning outcome as requested by yourself. So at least we've got an idea of what you did in each outcome, okay? So the first learning outcome we did was learning outcome 1, which was to understand the role and importance of human resource management in achieving organizational effectiveness. We looked at the developing an understanding of perspectives and strategies of HRM. We also looked at developing your understanding of practice and employer performance within HRM. We then went on to look at 1.1, which was to illustrate key concepts and models governing strategic human management. And we looked at the framework around that. We then went on to look at what is the definition for human resource management, why it's so important. We looked at features of HRM, such as strategic, coherent, commitment, people treated as assets, unitarist, and line managers deliver HRM. We looked at the goals of HRM, the versions of HRM, so you have hard, soft, and hard and soft. We then went onto the HRM system and looked at the human resource management philosophy, strategies and policies and processes and practices. We then went on to the matching model of HRM, which was developed by Forbrun, Tichy, and Devana in 1984. We then went on to look at the Harvard framework in regards to HRM, so the Harvard School of Michael Beer. We then went on to the David Guest model of the link between HRM and performance. We looked at the Bath people and performance model. And 1.2, evaluate the role and importance of strategic human management and organizations, the role of HR function, a new mandate for human resources. So we looked at becoming a partner, roles and HR professionals, views on strategic business partner concept. We looked at the HRA strategic roles. And then 1.3, we looked at analysing frameworks of strategic resource management. So the Harvard Analytical Framework for HRM and the Ulrich's Multiple Role Model 2009. We looked at the importance of the Ulrich's role in regards to your roles and your focus and strategies. We looked at the HRM, how it can impact on performance. And then HRM models, Tyson and Fell. Then went on to HRM models of story and Riley's HRM model and the relevance of this within HRM management. HRM's model in Caldwell and what he concentrated with HRM managers. Competency framework for HRA specialist. Evaluating the HRA function. And 10 ways to ensure that HR innovates effectively. So being clear, keeping it simple, assessing resource requirements, etc. We looked at the strategic HRM defined, looked at models of HRM, strategic management, HR strategy, strategic choice, and strategic analysis. Then we went on to look at, so what is the strategic role of a HR specialist? 7 steps to stop to being strategic. So aware of business context, understanding the business, appreciating how HR can add value, see the big picture, act as a change of agent, make convincing business case for innovation, and practice evidence based on management. So what about the strategy? We looked at HR strategy areas, so overall and specific. We then went to look at examples of overall HR strategy areas and the reference for that. We then went on to learning outcome 2, which looked at Sorry. Can you see HR learning outcome 2?
Yeah.
To understand the formulation and implementation of human resource strategies and the importance of this. So we looked
Yeah.
at the strategic human resource process, why it's so important, why we need it, why it's good for the workforce. Then we went on to look at the human resource planning.
Yeah.
So, resourcing, retention, flexibility, productivity. And the whole point is of human resources, if you work well, your productivity will be well within the organization.
Yeah.
We looked at internal planning factors, such as assessment, evaluation, implementation, planning, capacity. We
Yeah.
also looked at organizational needs, how they would adapt to the workforce. We also looked at skills requirement and why this is so important in regards to HR, because, the organization and the workforce needs to in order to produce better, they need to be having some form of training and skills. We looked at the workforce profiles.
Yeah.
We then went on to look at external planning factors. And these are factors that are influencing the business outside of its direct control. So things like supply of labor, labor costs, workforce skills. We then went on to look at government policy, because government policy have a great impact, doesn't it, on a business?
Yeah.
Because if you can't meet laws and, the changing nature of a job or any gaps in, then you're not doing what you need to within the HR department.
Yeah.
So you need to meet all the laws and everything, and follow the procedures in place. We looked at the labour market competition, and we looked at the changing nature of work.
Yeah.
We then went on to look at employee expectations. So, things like having different contracts of employment. Some people may have part-time, some people may have casual, some people may have permanent. We looked at the impact of automation and demand for products and services. We went then on to 2.2 and looked at the assessing the approaches of strategic human resource management. And we looked at the HRM models of Tyson and Fell and referred to them again and why they're so important within HR department. We went on to look at the HRM model of Story, which looks at, this how to be strategic and tactical and inventionary. So then we went again to look at compare Riley's model, and that looks at a strategist and an innovator, advisor, consultant, administrator, and controller. And this looked at the changing role of the HR practitioner.
Yeah.
We then went off to look at HRM models of Caldwell and what he suggested in regards to the role of HR managers. We then looked at competency framework for HR specialists, such as business and cultural awareness, strategic capability, organizational effectiveness, internal consultancy, service delivery, and continuous professional development. Now, continuous professional development is really important in any organization. The more you develop your employees' skills, the more they're able to work better and produce better. And they demonstrate the understanding of different skills being adopted. We then went on to look at 2.3, which was to analyze the development and implementation of human resource strategies. The initial stage, the second stage, we then went on to look at the third step, fourth step, the fifth step, and then the final step. We then went on to look at recruitment and the HR selection process. And this was learning outcome 2. Okay. So then we looked at learning outcome 3. So you can see learning outcome 3 on there.
Yeah.
Be critically analyze the use and application of range of HR strategies designed to improve employee and organizational performance. So here we looked at 3.1, which was to evaluate appropriate human resource strategies for an organisation. We then went on to look at the 6 parts of HRM plan and what they included, such as determining human resource needs, determining recruitment strategy, selecting employees, developing training, and determining compensation and appraise performance. We then went on to the recruitment and selection process, which we looked at the interview process, the test, and the assessment centre. We looked at why recruitment is so important and used an example of test scores, how they recruit someone and what their procedure is. So they advertise the job, they screen the applicant, interviewing, and then second interview if the applicant is successful in the first interview. We then went on to 3.2 and we looked at assessing human resource strategies and their application in an organisation and the relevance of human resource managers. We looked at the evolving terminology and languages. So how some businesses no longer use the term human resources and they prefer using the term human capital. And some organizations out there do that. So we looked at the workforce safety and risk management for creating a safe work environment free from any sort of hazards or any sort of unnecessary hazards or any sort of risks. We looked at the workers' compensation insurance and how we would reduce accidents. We then went on to look at compensation and benefits and what an employer would get to, determine the company's image and reputation. And then you referred to UK legislation, which is the National Minimum Wage Act 1998, the Working Time Directive Regulations 1998, the Employment Rights Act 1996, the Pensions Act 2008, the Health and Safety Act 1974, and Data Protection Act 1998, which looks at GDPR regulations. We then went on to the employer training and development, so human resource strategic role, what their role is in training and development and how it needs to motivate its employees and retain them. We then went on to recruitment and selection and what the process is for the HR in regards to how they would deal with recruitment and selection and what is the human resource manager's strategic role in, recruiting and selecting people. We then went on to employers and employee relationships, why they're so important, why some managers believe that it's very important to have a good relationship between the employers and the employee. What do you think within your practice? Do you think it's very important, Khurram, to have a good relationship with your manager?
Yeah, it's very important. As per my personal experience,
yes,
if you have good relation with your manager, and it's mean you are freely can discuss any issue with the manager, and manager can support you to resolve this issue. So you can get certain benefits. If you don't have good relation with your manager and with your line supervisor, so you will feel ashamed to discuss something, and such case, I think that will not be good for you, because
so it's very good to have that relationship with the manager, so you're able to, feel comfortable, you're able to discuss things, and you resolve any sort of issues within the workplace. So it's really, really important to have that. We then went on to refer you to some references there on learning outcome 3. And then we finished learning outcome 3. We went on to learning outcome 4, which is looking at the screen is paused. Can you see learning outcome 4? Let me just see.
From your screen?
No, let me just see if I can get you learning outcome 4 now.
Okay.
So this is learning outcome 4. This was the final learning outcome before the assignment session. Okay. So here we looked at 4.1, which was to review current literature and perspectives of strategic management.
Yes.
We looked at HR policies and the purpose of these. We also went on to look at organizational structure, the importance of organizational structure and the guidelines on employer-employee relationships. We looked at legal issues such as HR policies and procedures and how we must comply with the law, the relevant law within the country. We then went on to look at the employer handbook and why that's so important within any organization for a supervisor to look at the importance of a HR handbook, employee handbook. We looked at consistency and HR policies and procedures. We then looked at the purpose of HR policies and procedures. Why is it important? And we discussed it. Why is it so important to have HR policies and procedures in place?
Like before I discuss about this issue, the policies and procedure must be in place to deal with the unintended incidents in the workplace. Suppose we have a fighting in company and we don't have a policy to deal with this case. So after this, what will be happen? This is our failure, and this will destroy the repute of company as well. Suppose there is a accident happen in the company and we don't have policy in place to deal with this accident. So how we will rectify this issue? So the policies we should be proactive, and the policy should be in place to deal with every type of matter, so that we can resolve all the issues in the workplace.
So everybody knows their clear expectations. You need to have rules in place, what you've just explained. So how you should behave in the workplace, how managers, your understanding of how you should behave. You should also have consequences and tools in place. So if they behave badly, you've got sanctions in place and things like that. 4.2, evaluate contemporary issues affecting strategic human resource management. We looked at the gig economy. Innovation and optimism. We looked at the change in regulatory issues. We also looked at recruiting and retaining top talent. Why is it important to recruit and retain top talent? And diversity and harmony issues. So business owners, how they work with harmony and things. We looked at other contemporary issues, which was things like equal employment, diversity management, equal employment opportunity, affirmative action, and non-discriminatory practices. We then looked at race, national origin, and citizenship issues, and potential HR issues, things as racial, ethnical discrimination, harassment, requirements and bilingual employees, requirements for immigrants and foreign-born workers. We looked at sex, gender issues, avoiding inequalities. We looked at gender issues, things like the glass ceiling, nepotism. We then went on to look at breaking the glass, so alternative work arrangements, mentoring, things like that. We then went on to sexual harassment in the workplace and relationships. We then went on to look at the types of sexual harassment, so quid pro quo or hostile environment. We went to potential sexual harassers, could be your supervisor, could be co-workers, former employers, other employers, customers, vendors. We looked at the issue of addressing any forms of sexual harassment. So you should have sexual harassment policies in place, and how seriously you take on complaints. So what action you would take. We then looked at the sexual harassment liability determination, and there was a diagram there which went from the employee suffered no tangible and employee suffered tangible employment actions. We then went to look at the HR's managers' view of older workers, any sort of consequences, advantages and disadvantages of older workers. We then went to look at disabled workers and applicants and why it's so important to bring in the law in regards to disability. Common means of reasonable accommodation. We looked at religion and spiritual in the workplace, so managing religious diversity, so accommodation for religious beliefs in work schedules, respect for religious practices affecting dress and appearance, accommodation of religious expression in the workplace. We also looked at affirmative action, and we looked at the debate on affirmative action. Is it still needed or is it no longer needed? We then went on to the look at the components of an affirmative action plan. And we looked at managing diversity, tangible indicators such as age, marital and family status, disability, race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation. And we went on to managing diversity, how you would manage it. We then went on to the approaches to diversity and their results. And then we went on to looking at common diversity management components. And then finally, we went on to diversity training. So the backlash against efforts, so protected groups and non-protected groups. We also referred you to some references there in regards to looking at equality and diversity and why it's so important within the workplace. So these are the 4 learning outcomes we've been through, okay? So the next part of it now is to look at the assignment discussion. Have you got any questions on the 4 learning outcomes? This was a quick summary so that you're able to understand. We've been through this, so it's just a quick summary, a refresher, and then we'll go on to the assignment.
Yeah. It's nice because now we'll go to assignment.
Your mind refreshed a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me bring the assignment up now. There it is. So now we look at the assignment, and this is the assignment. And can you see that now?
Yeah, I can see.
Yes. So the assignment is unit level 6, and the grading structure is a pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So for each learning outcome, so make sure that when you are doing your assignment, you are following this structure. Okay.
Okay.
So because you've got 4 learning outcomes, within each learning outcomes, you need to make sure you are putting each one as a heading like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you are putting 1.1, learning outcome 1, 1.1. This is the heading, and right under the heading, answer the question. Learning outcome 1.2 as a heading and answer the question. You need to do that for everyone. Okay. You need to look at this plan here, and then we need to go to the scenario. So here's a scenario. Okay. So this case study is taken from this case study Coca-Cola. Okay.
Yeah.
So introduction. The Coca-Cola company is truly global, and its main product is recognized and consumed worldwide. The company organizes and structures itself in a way that reflects that fact. At the same time, the company looks to meet the particular needs of regional markets sensitively, and its structure also needs to reflect that fact. This case study illustrates the way in which company has built an organizational structure that is robust and yet also flexible enough to meet these particular requirements. Number 2, a global and local strategy. The Coca-Cola Company is the world's largest beverage company and is the leading producer and marketer of soft drinks. The company markets 4 of the world's top 5 soft drinks: Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Fanta, and Sprite. The success of the Coca-Cola Company revolves around 5 main factors. A unique and recognized brand. Coca-Cola is among the most recognized trademarks around the globe. B, quality. Consistency, offering consumers products of the highest quality. C, marketing. Delivering creative and innovative programs worldwide. D, global availability. So Coca-Cola products are bottled and distributed worldwide. And E, ongoing innovation, continually providing consumers with new products offerings. For example, Diet Coke 1982, Coca-Cola with vanilla 2002. And then in 2004, This is the diagram identifies the volume, total volume in billions, okay? In Latin America, it was 25%. In North America, it was 29%. In Africa, it was 6%. Asia, 18%. And Europe and Middle East was 22%. The illustration above shows the worldwide distribution of sales of Coca-Cola products by quantity in 2003. This must have gone up by now. Although Coca-Cola is a global product with universal appeal, the company actually operates in local environments around the world, with each country having its own unique needs and requirements. So, while Coca-Cola is probably the only product in the world that is universally relevant in every corner of the globe, the company feels that its responsibility is to ensure with every single can or bottle of Coca-Cola sold and enjoyed, individual connections are made with their consumers. That can only be achieved at a local level. The challenging facing the Coca-Cola today is therefore to continue to build an organizational structure that will deliver a global and local structure. Number 3, the relationship between strategy and structure. An organization's strategy is to plan for the whole business that sets out how the organization will use its major sources. An organization structure is the way the pieces of organization fit together internally. It also covers the links with external organizations as partners. And that diagrams identify strategy, achievement, and structure. For the organization to deliver its plans, the strategy and the structure must be woven together seamlessly. The goal of the Coca-Cola Company is to be the world's leading provider of branded beverage solutions, to deliver consistent and profitable growth, and to have the highest quality products and processes. To achieve this goal, the company has established 6 strategic priorities and has built these into every aspect of its business. A, to accelerate carbonated soft drinks growth led by Coca-Cola. B, to broaden the family of products wherever appropriate, bottled water, tea, coffee, juices, energy drinks. C, to grow system profitability and capability together with the bottles. D, to creatively serve customers, for example, retailers and shops, to build their businesses. And E, to invest intelligently in market growth. And F, to drive efficiency and cost effectiveness by using technology and large-scale production to control costs, enabling our people to achieve extraordinary results every day. There are many functions to structure an organization. For example, marketing, finance, distribution. The product reflecting product categories, bread, pies, for example, cakes, biscuits. The process is reflecting different processes, for example, the storage, the manufacturing, how it's packed, how it's delivered. Organizational structures need to be designed to meet aims. They involve combining flexibility of decision-making and the sharing of best ideas across the organization, with appropriate levels of management and control from the center. Modern organizations like the Coca-Cola Company have been built flexible structures which, wherever possible, encouraging teamwork. For example, at Coca-Cola Great Britain, any different product, for example, Coca-Cola Vanilla, brings together teams of employees with different specialism. At such meetings, marketing specialists clarify the results of their marketing research and testing. Food technologies, they describe what changes to be made to a product, what is feasible, the financial experts on the cost implications. Number 4, the corporate segment, which is the head office. The Coca-Cola in that diagram has a corporate head office segment that is responsible for giving the company an overall direction and providing the support to the regional structure. Key strategic decisions at the Coca-Cola Company are made by the executive committee of 12 company officers. The committee helped to shape 6 strategic priorities set out earlier. The chair of the executive committee acts as a figurehead for the company and chairs the board meetings, is also the chief executive officer, and is he is the senior decision maker. Other executives are responsible either for the major regions, for example, Africa, or have to have an important specialism, for example, the chief financial officer. The regional structure that combines centralization and localization is as a company whose success rests on its ability to connect with local consumers. It makes sense for the Coca-Cola company to be organized in a regional structure which combines centralization and localization. The company operates 6 geographical operating segments called strategic business units, SBUs, as well as the corporate head office, which is in the diagram. In the next diagram, it looks at the elements of SBUs. Each of these regional SBUs is subdivided into divisions. Taking the European Union SBU, for example, the UK fits in the Northwest Europe division. This geographical structure recognizes that markets are geographically separate. Tastes and lifestyle vary from area to area, as do incomes and consumptions. Markets are different at different stages. This is the Great Britain, the GB division in the diagram. So at a more local level, the management of the Coca-Cola company involves a number of functional specialisms. The management structure for Great Britain illustrates this, and the structure of the Coca-Cola Great Britain combines elements of centralization and decentralization divisions. And regions operate as business unit aims, with each director reporting to the general manager, which is the division president. However, there is a matrix structure for each function. For example, the finance director in the Great Britain division reports to the Great Britain president, but also to dotted line the finance director of Northwest Europe division. In addition, functions with the company operate across geographical boundaries to share best practice. And that diagram identifies that. To take another example of local decision-making at regional level, the various SBUs are responsible for region-specific market research and for developing local advertising, for example, using the languages of countries in which the Coca-Cola company operates. A major region like Great Britain has its own marketing structure organized as shown in the diagram. Product support. The way Coca-Cola company works reflects the many countries and cultures in which it does business. It owns or licenses nearly 400 brands in non-alcoholic beverages, serving consumers in over 200 countries. An essential part of the organization's structure, therefore, focuses on ensuring that individual products are given the best possible support in regional markets. Within the company, different teams concentrate on particular products and use their specialist knowledge of the brands, and consumers need to support the sales and promotional effort. In some cases, a product is developed solely for local consumption, and an example of this is the product Lilt, which is the only one available in Great Britain and Ireland. Examples of other products available in Great Britain include carbonated soft drinks, which is Coca-Cola, Fanta, Sprite, juice and juice drinks, Schweppes, tomato juice cocktail, Oasis and Five Alive, water, the Malvin one, energy drinks, Burn, sports drinks, Powerade, squashes and cordial, Kiora, roses, lime, cordial. The structure and culture. Number 4, structuring an organization is not only organizing internal relationships, but it also involves external ones. The Coca-Cola company has built well-structured relationships with a range of external groups, including bottling partners. People often assume that the Coca-Cola company bottles and distributes its own beverages. For the most part, it does not. The company's primary business consists of manufacturing and selling beverage concentrates and syrups, as well as some finished beverages, to bottling and canning operations and other distribution. The concentrates and syrups are generally sold to bottling partners, which are authorized to manufacture, distribute, and sell branded products. The business system consisting of the Coca-Cola company and bottling partners is referred to as a Coca-Cola system. The relationship the Coca-Cola company has with the bottlers worldwide is a key source of strength. The company works together with them to ensure that concentrates and syrups are made into finished beverages and that are produced and distributed to consumers around the globe with unmatched quality and service. Every organization has not only a structure but also a culture. Culture describes the typical way an organization does things, including patterns of behavior and relationships. Important aspects of culture at Coca-Cola, Great Britain, which reflect the culture of the Coca-Cola company as a whole, are an emphasis on teamwork and empowerment. Coca-Cola Great Britain sees its employers as its most important asset. Motivated employees provide the engine that drives the company's growth. Organizing people into teams, marketing, sales, or product teams encourages people to feel valued. Within a team, they are encouraged to contribute ideas and to be innovative. If they feel that something could be done better, they are encouraged to voice their opinion. By creating that team, they are encouraged to contribute ideas and be innovative. If you feel that something could be done better, they are encouraged to voice their opinion by creating a friendly, innovative culture. Coca-Cola Britain is able to depend on highly quality workforce that helps them maintain brand leadership in Great Britain and in every market in which it operates. Trust is at the heart of every relationship, whether it be customers and consumers trust that the company will provide the highest level of service and attention to their needs, or whether it be bottling partners trust that the company is operating in the best interest of the Coca-Cola company system. Employees trust that the contribution is being valued in open culture. Open communication channels provides the means to support a culture based on relationships. Coca-Cola has a number of communication channels, including monthly leadership team meetings involving function heads, weekly department team meetings, monthly employee team briefing sessions, consultative employee groups for each region, and surveys to monitor employee views and feelings. Number 5, the conclusion. The Coca-Cola company has built internal, external structures to support the delivery of its business goals. The regional structure is the best way of supporting this growth, allowing attention to local requirements while at the same time building on a clear strategic direction from the centre. A culture of innovation, teamwork, and partnership means that the company is a firm foundation of relationships and open communication channels on which to build its growth. So this is the case study of Coca-Cola that's relating to your assignment, okay?
Yeah.
So there's 3 tasks, okay? Task 1 of 3, okay? These are the instructions. So with reference to Coca-Cola, the case study, or other organization of your choice, so you could use a different organization or you can just refer to Coca-Cola. You need to describe what strategic human resource management is and analyze its role within both organizations. So this would be your heading, okay? So you would put task 1 and then you would put number 1 with reference to the Coca-Cola case study or another organization, describe what strategic human resource management is and analyze its role within this, okay? And this would be your heading. So this would be first part and then you would write under it, okay? Make sure you put that as a heading.
Okay.
Then the second one, which you would have as a heading, is this part, and then you would write under this. So with reference to Coca-Cola or another organization, examine how human resource strategies are planned, developed, and implemented, as well as the possible approaches they could have taken. Okay, so this is another part of task 1 that you need to look at. Okay, then that's the heading. Then this is the third heading. Analyze the HRM processes used by Coca-Cola or other organization, you need to find more details than the information in the case study, since you need to analyze the workforce planning, recruitment, human resource development, and performance management and talented management. Okay, so these are 3 tasks that you need to do for task 1. Okay, 3 parts, and each one needs to be in a heading. And the delivery and submission of this is 1 essay, and it should be 1,000 words. Okay,
Okay.
just for that task 1. And it should be excluding diagrams, references, and appendices. And this all task 1 here covers 1.1 in your slides, 1.2, 1.3, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. So all this here would be covered by that learning outcome. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is task 1. Make sure you have headings for each one that you write about. So if you're writing about this one, have this as a heading. If you're writing about this one, have this as a heading, and do them all separately. But it should be 1,000 words, okay?
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah, 1,000 words should be for these trees. Trees like
Yes,
trees.
these
Yeah,
3
okay.
here. All these
Okay.
3. Okay?
Okay.
1,000 words for them. But you can put diagrams in. The 1,000 words doesn't include diagrams or references or appendices. And you need to be using the Harvard system for referencing. Okay?
Okay.
And you also need to, at the start of the assignment, put your name, what the unit you're doing. So it's diploma in business management, and what unit it is. So strategic human resource management. Put your name in there, and then put all the details in order. So you can have a contents page as well. Okay.
Yeah.
This all task 1 must be 1,000 words. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
And you need to look at, when you're talking about, you need to look at the Coca-Cola case study, okay? Then this is task 2. So task 2, you've got to look at AC 3.1, learning outcome 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. So it's learning outcome 3. So in task 2, you are looking at 2 parts here, okay, of task 2. First one, you need to analyze and identify the HR strategies that were used. Okay, with reference to Coca-Cola or any company you choose. Okay.
Okay.
It's better for you to refer to Coca-Cola because you have everything above. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I would like to go for my own company, UCC
Okay.
Holding.
Okay. If you want to, it's up to you. Yeah, excellent. But
Yeah.
answer the questions in relation to your own company then, okay?
Yeah. Because I am
So,
familiar with the system and management,
yes,
HR strategies
that's
and
okay.
everything that will
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
So make sure this is, so task 2, you will put as a heading, and then you will put number 1, identify and analyze HR strategies, and then write about this. Okay.
Okay.
And number 2, put this as a heading, compare and the HR strategies used in other strategies that could be used. And this is altogether for each one is 1,500 words.
Yeah. Okay.
So how much would you do for each question then if it's 1,500 words task 2?
Task 2, both points should be 1,500 words, right?
Yes. So how much would you do for each part?
750.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's how to do it. And then make sure you are putting them in as headings, okay?
Yeah.
Then we go on to task 3, the final task. And that covers AC 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3. And that will help you with your PowerPoint slides, okay?
Yeah.
So with reference to Coca-Cola or other organization of your choice, write an essay which identifies and analyzes at least 3. So this is what you're doing. You're writing an essay which analyzes at least 3 contemporary issues that may affect strategic human resource management. Make sure you use theory to support your argument, okay? So make sure you are covering that, and that is altogether 1,500 words for that. Okay, so make sure you're looking at your organization and you're writing about at least analysing 3 contemporary issues that can affect strategic resource management within your organisation. Make sure you are using theory and academic sources and referencing throughout to complete this. So that is 1,500 words, okay?
Yeah.
And then you're referencing, you should use cite academic sources and reliable sources, and you should use the Harvard system of referencing. So make sure there's 3 tasks here. One with 3 parts in. So each part do as a heading, okay? And then each part, that would be, so this is your, in task 1, this is your first question, yes? And talk about this. Do it as a heading. This is your second question. So the person marking it understands that you've done everything and covered every part. Okay? And then this is the second part and use that as a heading. And then this is the third part and use that as a heading. Make sure, you know, if you're writing about each one of them, workforce planning, recruitment, you could have them as headings within that task, you know, so that you're writing about each one. Then this is altogether is 1,000 words, okay? Task 2 is 1,500 words, so 750 each, and it's AC 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and you will be having 2 parts. So this part would be number 1, and you would identify, analyze HR strategies that were used, and this as a heading, this could be part 2, okay, as a heading under task 2. Then under task 3, you would have this as your heading, and this is learning outcome 4, and then this is 1,500 words. So you would talk about your own organization, and you would write an essay in identifying and analyzing any sort of contemporary issues that may affect the strategic human resource management. Make sure you support your answer with theory, okay? And there's an 1,500 words excluding any sort of diagrams, references and appendices. Make sure that you are fully citing your work. Make sure at the start of your work, when you start your work, you are putting in instance, for example, you are putting at the start your name, your unit, what it's called, and then your college number, and then what you're doing, and maybe put a contents page, task 1, and then each part, task 2, each part, and then just make sure you're using Harvard referencing as well, because that's so important throughout, because it's level 6 and it's an academic piece of work, and you should be getting used to using Harvard referencing and sourcing your work as well, because it's so important. Okay. Have you got any questions?
No, it's okay. Well explained by you.
So you can start doing this, because we finished the sessions now. So you can start doing it, and once you've done it, you need to submit it to learner@ukvarsity.co.uk. If you have any questions, email me, okay? And I'll respond to your questions. But I think you will be okay if you use your own organization, like you said.
That will
help
be
you.
that will help me very much.
So make sure, you know, you're using the right resources. Make sure you're referencing everything. You know, make sure you're using the fact that you're using organizations, you know, workforce planning, things like that. Make sure you're making it clear what task you're doing and which part of the task, because you have to do every part of this task to achieve the pass grade.
Inshallah.
Okay. So it was lovely teaching you, Khurram. This is our final session now. So get on with the work, get it marked, and it was lovely teaching you, and it was nice to get to know you a little bit as well. So good luck with achieving your grade and completing these assignment. Have you got any other questions before I go?
No, it's okay. Thank you very much for this nice
Oh, no,
explaining.
thank you. It was lovely, Khurram. And keep in touch.
Okay.
Thank
Inshallah.
you. Thanks a lot, inshallah. And have a nice Eid. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then. Khuda Hafiz.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.